My name's Amanda Kristen, and I'm the transit manager at the Broward MPO, but I'm also the host of DETOURS, a small podcast about the intersection of transportation and many different things. Today, I have with me Alex Esposito. He is the CEO and co-founder of Circuit. Alex?
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm
Thanks
great.
for having me.
Thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having me. I love the studio you have set up here.
Safe Road Summit?
Safe Road Summit, yeah.
Please. I want you to tell me a little bit about Circuit first, what the technology is, and then I would like for you to go into a little bit about how you founded it, because Circuit is a big name here in South Florida as far as microtransit is concerned. Can you talk to us a little bit about both those things?
Yeah, absolutely. So Circuit is, our mission at Circuit is to connect communities through shared mobility solutions. So what that means is we work with a bunch of cities, special districts, occasionally properties as well, and we build on-demand mobility solutions using fleets of electric vehicles, teams of employee drivers, and the technology feels a lot like a rideshare, but the rides are usually pooled. The cars are fully electric. That's a uniform fleet of vehicles. And the drivers are all background check local employees.
Oh, wow.
We're also very focused on short trips. So that means downtown shuttles, parking shuttles, and first last mile connections to existing transit is a lot of what we do too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've been in this region for about 10 years.
Yeah.
And I think you started in New York, but can you tell us a little bit about how Circuit started and how you became such a boon down here?
Yeah, well, I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
But, interesting origin story. So I actually grew up in Eastern Long Island in East Hampton, and there are locals in the Hamptons. They exist, and just like down here, the tourists come and fill up all the parking lots.
Right.
And so we had this idea. My co-founder James Mears and I went to high school together.
Okay.
And we always had this idea of we should really have a beach shuttle that gets people, from town to the beach. And then we got a little older. We had full-time jobs. We lived in New York City at this point. And we sort of brought the idea back to life. And we said, well, what if we made it free at the time? We made it fully electric, and we can work with advertising partners to solve the parking issue. So the town was really excited about it. It was highly utilized. And then we had a lot of cities calling us saying, we have parking issues too. We have last mile connection issues. We want to go electric. And so we had friends that lived in West Palm Beach, and we decided to quit our jobs, load up the truck. We literally had like everything you can imagine strapped to the side, and came down 95, set up shop, and did a lot of the driving back then.
Yeah.
And then around that time, the manufacturer of the vehicle actually put us in touch with Jason Bagley. And Jason oversees most of our business here in South Florida. He's based in Fort Lauderdale. And he was running a similar type of beach shuttle using the same type of car. So teamed up with Jason, and then from there, we've just sort of kept growing.
Yeah, really, really flourished. What are some of the districts that you're working in South Florida?
So we're mainly in Palm Beach and Broward County. We do some work in Miami as well. A lot of great cities up and down the coast, Fort Lauderdale's being one of them. Hollywood, Pompano, Wilton Manors.
So our beach cities, our tucked away communities, you have some way to get people to and from where they want to go from, but not necessarily from home, right?
That does happen.
Okay.
I think the common use cases are parking issues, obviously.
Right.
Downtown parking and congestion issues. So how do you get around a downtown area without needing a vehicle or using, a private car service? And then connections to transit. So our number 2 pickup stop in many locations, and I looked the other day, I think West Palm Beach is the Tri-Rail station. So a lot of people using it to connect, and it's just kind of that distance that's longer than you want to walk, but not far enough to drive, and you don't want to pay for a rideshare.
So and Circuit is typically free, or is there a charge?
Yeah, it varies. So many of our services are totally free. In some cases, there's a small fare. And then in some cases, that's dynamic. So what we can do is if you're getting dropped off at the train station, maybe it's free. But if you're at your house, going to your friend's house, there might be a small fare. And so
that seems very reasonable.
Yeah.
Okay. And it seems that people have really understood the call. They really understand that there might be a little bit of a fee for the convenience of getting to where you want to be.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So thinking about innovation, for the Safe Road Summit, we have 3 major themes: safety, innovation, and families. Okay. Can you tell us how Circuit contributes to safety in South Florida?
Yeah, in many ways. I mean, I think obviously getting a ride, the drinking and driving thing comes up. But I think beyond that, what's often overlooked is we have an employee driver model. So it's not like, the 1099 contractor model.
Right.
A lot of times we hear from the passengers, I like that I know the driver, because if you're always going on a Wednesday morning, there's a decent chance you'll get the same driver. So those are all background checked employees. We have pretty rigid safety protocols as it relates to, handling situations with riders. And then on the vehicle side, we have a full fleet team that oversees all the vehicles to make sure that they're,
In tip-top shape, right?
tip-top shape, 1490 compliance, all that kind of fun stuff.
Wonderful. Yeah, we've been talking about that a little bit, about the vehicles that are able to be on the road versus the vehicles that have to stay, golf carts versus another time, another story.
Yeah.
So again, innovation, safety,
Innovation.
and family. So innovation. I mean, I think that speaks for itself a little bit, because Circuit was such an innovator at the time. And how is it continuing to innovate?
Yeah, I mean, I think, what we've realized is that there's a lot of efficiencies to be gained using technology, but the technology isn't the whole story. It's how do you use technology to have better fleet practices? How do you use technology to have better driver staffing and training? And then, of course, the app is the one that gets a lot of the attention. So this past year, we've added fixed route tracking to our app.
Oh, wow.
Developed, yeah. So you can, in some of our markets like Boca, the other one is autonomous vehicles. So we've run a couple AV demonstrations.
Right.
So in Boca, you can see where the autonomous vehicle is on the fixed route, or you can swipe and go to the on-demand option. So it's cool to see kind of those multimodal things coming together.
That's a great improvement.
Yeah, it's been nice. We never want to be ones that compete with public transit. Ultimately, the goal is to get people out of their cars.
Right.
And so if we can feed Tri-Rail or feed existing fixed route services, then that's a good thing for everybody.
No matter what you're doing, you're taking a single occupant vehicle off the road.
That also with the innovation, the pooling is a big part of that too. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, I didn't touch on families, but families are all welcome too.
Families are all welcome, but really, thinking about Circuit, I really wanted to touch on safety and innovation. So thank you very much, Alex. I appreciate it. Thank you.